Hello everyone, this is a quick video in which I'm going to address two sometimes quite confusing issues relating to photographing people and places on the streets. A few people have contacted me recently asking about the laws relating to photographing people in public places. The main query seems to be whether you have to gain permission from the people you are photographing if you want to use their picture in a specific way. Well, generally speaking, the laws are quite clear on this, but it's worth familiarising yourself with them so that you know where you stand if you are ever challenged over one of your pictures. So today I'm going to look briefly at the rules here in the UK for both capturing members of the public and also shooting in public places. I must stress though that these rules apply only for street photography here in the UK. Elsewhere, please check the rules for the country that you're living or shooting in, as they may well be different. The first and most important thing to point out is that here in the UK, the laws are quite relaxed. And if you're on what is designated as public property, public land, you are free to photograph who and what you like. You do not need to seek the consent of a member of the public if you want to include them in a photograph taken in a public place. Naturally, this is all within reasonable bounds, and there are things like decency laws which of course have to be respected. A law was passed recently that forbade a process called upskirting, which is the practice of taking a voyeuristic photograph beneath someone's clothing, which is forbidden. It is also forbidden to harass somebody whilst in the process of taking their photo. Another point worth mentioning is that although you may be standing in a public place yourself, you cannot photograph someone who themselves may be standing in what's deemed as a private place, such as their home, as this would be an invasion of privacy. Now we come to the rules about using a picture you've taken of someone in a public place and your rights of usage. You are free to use the image on social media, in a book, a magazine, or display it in a way that puts it into the public space in a non-commercial way without getting the subject to sign what's called a model release form. You do not need the person or persons who appear in the picture to legally give you permission to do so. Publication for non-commercial, artistic or editorial purposes does not require the permission of the person photographed. Now, if you intend using the picture commercially, in advertising say, or in marketing perhaps, then you will generally need the permission of the person photographed. Therefore, it may be incumbent on the person or company to gain permission from the person photographed to get them to sign a model release form or similar so that they can use their image commercially. This will depend on the specifics of the image use. Another issue that's worth covering here is the actual definition of a public place, because it can be a bit of a grey area sometimes. I have been approached by security guards in front of buildings a few times who warned me that I was not permitted to take pictures of their office as I was on private land. I remember trying to explain the public place law to them, but they pointed out that I had in fact strayed onto private land and as a result was trespassing with my camera. When I inquired about how the private territory was demarcated, my attention was drawn to a change of paving and also some metal studs in the paving that had been placed there to mark it out. So standing within that area meant that I was in fact no longer in a public place, but was indeed on private land. Well, it was news to me at the time, but going forward, it did give me something to think about. Now, not every business will care whether you're taking pictures in and around their property, and they may just ignore you and let you carry on. And in my experience, this is most often the case. Being on private land doesn't automatically mean that you can't take pictures, but if a representative of the space, building, shopping centre, etc. objects to what you're doing, then it is time to stop, and stop you should. You can try to ask for permission and to continue, but mostly it's not worth the hassle and it's really best to just move on. Well, that's it. I hope this brief video has helped to make it a little clearer regarding your legal rights and where you stand when it comes to photographing people and places on the streets. Thanks for watching. See you next time.